Hey, it's Todd Ault. It's Risk On, everybody. It is a show about risk. It is Wednesday, April 27th. Wow, half the year is like, well, not half, but a quarter of the year, maybe more than that. 4 months have blown by. I can't really add. It's episode 214. 214 times we've done this. Not including Bitcoin Weekly and the other stuff we've done, not including the Risk On shows for sports.
Yep.
Jason Bartholomew is here right now next to me. And Skyla's here. I'm in a great mood because we have a special guest, Chris Owuwu, the president of Ault Alliance and the VP of investment for BitNile Holdings. That actually says on there Ault Global Holdings. That's the old name. That's okay. Chris will also be presenting at the Risk On Business Conference. Now, Chris was a massively strategic hire. He is smarter than all of us. He went to some school that was like Ivy League or something. I had some big names between, he was Banker of the Year a few years ago, and he is a very methodical. He has done somewhere in the neighborhood. Now, I'm guessing the number. I've heard about 150 transactions of reorganization. And I brought him on because I thought it would be best for people to hear a little bit. Now, we have to be very careful because we just bought EYP. We announced it Monday. But we bought it through a process of bankruptcy. And I see people commenting like, oh, they're bankrupt, so they must not be good. Wow, if that's the in-depth research you do, it's a good thing you're not the investor. Anyways, not to criticize, but if you read the PACER filings, which I know some of our investors are very smart and they've been reading the PACER filings, they would see that EYP had hundreds of millions of dollars of debt, which means they definitely had borrowing capacity, which means they had earnings at one time. And this is a 50-year-old proud company run by a very successful management team that is reorganizing something that they inherited. And that was a prior leverage buyout. So we're going to have Chris talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about the Risk On Business Conference, which is filling up quickly. May 12th through the 15th. Boy, do we have a list of speakers, including Chris, that are going to be there. Damon John. Josh Altman, one of the top brokers in the world. Anthony, the Scaramouche Mooch, is going to be there. Nicole Arbor, Thomas Lee, Bradley, Lee Steinberg, Charles Payne, Chris Wu. I already mentioned him 3 times. Greg Foss, Connor Daly, Aaron Schock, and Mike Searock, amongst others. It will be a Bitcoin Saturday and a business roundtable on Friday. And if you ever thought you needed to raise money for your company or understand how to do it, I'm going to be there, right? And I think that I've raised nearly, I got to be careful here because I know lots of people who like my disclosures watch this show.
Just say millions and millions.
I raised at least $400 million in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe more.
Yeah.
And I've raised it for public and private companies, maybe even more than that. Yeah. And
yeah, but what do
I
you know
realize everybody probably wants to talk about Nile stock price.
No.
But we're not going to because the more I talk about it, the more it goes down. Well, so does Mara's and Riot's and everyone else's too. Yeah, we're definitely in a bear market. But let's roll the clip on the conference because the stock market doesn't necessarily mean the business. The business does continue. Doing business continues, and that's what we do here. We are in the business of doing business. But Chris is going to join us shortly, so stand by for that. Let's roll the clip on the conference.
I will give you the $150,000 you asked for 30%.
I could run my business off of my cell phone inside of a phone booth. I don't need a big office.
Show me the money!
It works. Sports delivers.
There are a bunch of different uses for NFTs.
I want to unleash what you know already and then give you the confidence to seize on it.
Any superhero you want to be, you can be in this house.
Money is for lending, not for spending.
Wow. I'm so jacked about this conference, man. Dude, look at those people that are going to be there. Oh, my God. Hey, the Indy Grand Prix will be at Alabama this weekend. I'll be there. 90 laps, 207 miles. The track is in Birmingham. It's a 2.3-mile permanent road course with 17 turns and 80-foot elevation change. Sweet home, Alabama. Let's roll the clip, Brett. There are a lot of people watching now. Wow.
Well,
what could that be about? I don't want to go to a market update, even though my producer wants me to. I want to go to Chris Wu because he is a busy banker and he doesn't have time for my ass. But I have begged him to come on. Now, Chris, obviously, I know you have to limit your comments, but welcome to the show, Chris. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Glad to be here. Glad to see you guys.
Chris, one of the things we talked about was in the future, we were going to buy assets that were cash producing that had. So maybe you could just talk about, in general, when you look at EBITDA cash producing assets, maybe not EYP specifically, but what are some of the characteristics you look for when you want to make an acquisition? And since you've done or advised in more than 150 of them, I think you're eminently qualified to tell people to what you think. I actually wanted to tell him to shut up, but that's I can't say that. You're a gentleman. I'm an ass. So let's go.
Well, I mean, you ultimately, in terms of valuing a business, right? You want to discount the present value of a company's projected free cash flows, and when you discount those free cash flows to the present, you get a net present value, and hopefully you're acquiring a business at a discount to the NPV so that you have a margin of safety, and then you have an opportunity to hopefully help the company generate more free cash flow. And so, what free cash flow is simply, effectively the cash that a company generates, which excludes depreciation and amortization expense. It takes into consideration changes in net working capital so that, if it's a business that consumes a lot of net working capital as it's growing, it's not really generating free cash. And you also have to consider capital expenditures because there's, enterprises that consume a lot of capital. And so if you find a business that generates a lot of free cash flow, that's stable, that has a market position, and has a brand, it has customers, that's a good business to own, and we can ascertain, the net present value of that kind of business, and then you just have to discount it by a rate that reflects the riskiness of those free cash flows. And so that's what we're looking for fundamentally, is a good business that we can acquire for Ault Alliance that will give the business stability, in addition to the NOIs that are being produced by the hospitality properties, which are coming along nicely. We don't have to say anything more than that. We think we acquired them properly. So, with the hotel properties, with enterprises that we buy private equity style, our view is that Ault Alliance, as a potential future standalone entity, can continue to raise capital. And Todd, you can continue to, make money through the lender, as well as allocate capital amongst your various platforms. That's the idea.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chris. Chris, when you can you talk a little bit about some of the type of transactions you've done in the past? Maybe not specifically, but like when you've been out there advising, maybe things that have been restructured, just an example of companies that have went through bankruptcy or how they go through bankruptcy, the process, and why we would be the stalking horse bidder.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've done this many times in my career. There are a lot of experienced professionals out there, and I'm of a group of professionals that understands, how to, how to restructure a company as an ongoing concern in order to reposition it. A company may have taken on too many liabilities. Its industry sector may be going through a secular downturn. A company may be uncompetitive and may be in the bottom quartile or 10th of its industry peer set. It may have bad management. It may have made an untimely capital expenditure. There's a lot of reasons why companies, go into temporary decline or secular decline, or occasionally, a unique set of circumstances that gives them some liquidity, and those companies can benefit by taking advantage of what's known as the automatic stay, which is really a breathing spell afforded to Chapter 11 debtors. It's not a Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is liquidation. Chapter 11 is really business reorganization. And so we find a lot of opportunities in this arena because, companies go up, companies go down, sometimes for self-inflicted wounds, and sometimes for reasons that are external to management. And so I have a lot of experience in that arena.
Chris, what do you think about the current market conditions? Fed raising rates. I mean, we saw the market rally a little bit today. I mean, this theory that in February of 21, the market started declining. It's been a slow decline since last year. We're about 12, 15 months into this decline. Today, you even saw a dead cat bounce. Theory being you throw a dead cat off a building, even it'll bounce. Your thoughts on what the market looks like to you?
Yeah, I mean, I tend not to be too myopic. I tend to, look more at the long term, and I think of where we are right now, and we're in a debt cycle, and obviously, the powers to be have taken, some of the wrong reasons in terms of self-belief that they can modulate or attenuate economic cycles and try to help too much when things are going through a recessive cycle, for example. So, coming out of 2008, people felt like, okay, we got this. We know how to do things, which is to hyperinflate. And we expanded the Fed balance sheet, by, 3 trillion or something like that. But that pales in comparison to where we are now. So obviously the COVID-related Fed balance sheet expansion, the genie is really out of the bottle, and the degrees of freedom that the Fed has it's been exercised, and there's no more, because for every basis point of rate increase that incurs, we have to service that correspondingly in terms of debt service, right? So in terms of future rate hikes, I think the Fed is trying to simply manage really the expectation of future rates through job owning. And, there's obviously a limit to what they can do. So I don't see inflation being corralled in the near term or even in the midterm. I think it's going to be a permanent feature for the next 10 years. And therefore, we're looking for inflation-resistant businesses like commercial real estate and companies that have pricing power that, are able to pass on, the cost of goods onto consumers. And I think it's going to be difficult for people to be able to save. At the same time, I don't see any major red flags in terms of, where we are in terms of the growth. We're not we're not going into a recessive cycle, foreseeable future.
All right, Chris, we appreciate you being here, man. I know you have some of the bankers back east here, so we'll let you get back to work. Sorry I was not able to join you. Are you going to be in Alabama this weekend?
I'm not, but I'll see you both in Indianapolis.
And you'll be at the conference. Chris will be at the conference May 12th through the 15th. And if you ever want to ask any questions, this guy that asks questions. He has done a ton of deals in his lifetime. He's president of Ault Alliance. He's VP of investments for the parent company, and he's on the board of Earnity. He brought us the Earnity investment. Chris, I was curious before we left what your thoughts are on Bitcoin right now.
Bitcoin, same as it ever was. I mean, it's the already proven store of value and its utility as we move through the adoption cycle. We'll continue to have utility as potential medium of exchange, but even barring that, I think steady as she goes. We've seen some pull back, but again, I'm not myopic about the price, and I have very little concerns about Bitcoin being one of the hopeful things in a very difficult time that gets us out of the fiat death spiral that the world is consumed by.
I wondered if you had a chance to see the interview, and you don't have to answer this question, but I did an interview with Greg Foss the other day, and he talked about, which I love the theory, that Bitcoin is a credit default swap on the fiat currency Ponzi. Now, he called it that. I don't call it a fiat currency Ponzi, but that's what Greg Foss said, and I wondered what you thought of it being like a credit default swap on fiat.
100%. I mean, I'm all in on Greg Foss. I've listened to his podcast. There's zero delta between my views and Greg's views, and I would endorse that that statement effectively because everybody needs to have hedges, but you also need to stay long in your 401k account, and you can't sort of decouple from fiat responsibly. But what's on the other side when it's like the movie No Way Out. I'm a big fan of that movie. Kevin Costner,
love the movie. Love it.
He's trapped in the Pentagon, and everybody's figured out, he could be the mole. And he's running around the Pentagon trying to figure out a way. And, that's no different than Jerome Powell. I mean, you're never going to see him run because, he moves, in a measured pace and people aren't going to trap him. But, Jay Powell's been trying to figure out a way out of the fiat Pentagon, and there's no way out, and he knows it. So, we all need a hedge, like Greg just said, and I think that's a terrific analogy.
Hey, Chris, thanks for your time, buddy. Say hello to everybody. Say to Chase and Patrick and John, and hopefully you guys are making progress back there. Sorry I wasn't able to make dinner, although I don't recall being invited. So, anyways, I'm teasing you. Anyways,
you've got a busy schedule,
yeah,
my man.
I do, my friend. I do. You take care.
Enjoy Alabama.
Take care. One thing I want to tell you guys is that you did see an S3 just drop. That is a required registration from the December financing. And notice that those warrants are at $1. So as you see that, it's a requirement. We had to file it. That's the way the world works. There we are, right? So, Jason, why don't we cover the market real quick? Because I know we're behind in that update. And I know that we were flat today after rallying a little bit. But, Jason, take it away, my man.
What, the dead cat we had?
Give me a dead cat.
I mean, 61 points to the good for the Dow. I mean,
yeah,
that's
whatever,
not much
right?
there, whatever. 33,301. NASDAQ was actually flat. Although after hours, it looks like Facebook's getting some traction here. NASDAQ 12,488, 12,488, minus 1.81 points. S&P up 8, 41.83. Bitcoin 39,191, Ethereum 28.62, oil $102. Gas still here in Vegas is $5 a gallon.
I do feel since we are trading some a little bit, very nominal, we're not recommending you trade anything we trade. Consult your financial investor. This is not a solicitation to buy or sell securities. With that in mind, I did trade the triple Qs last night when the market was down.
Yeah.
They were at I believe 313, and they fell hard after the close. 317 to 313. I bought some in that range. Traded them this morning. Got short a little Tesla. Traded that Tesla. Traded a little bit of the diamonds and Facebook. Made money, and now I sold Facebook too soon. Even though I made money.
Yeah.
I sold Facebook and making a profit at 173. It's about 198 in the aftermarket.
Well, generally, game theory dictates that you don't hold through earnings. It's just a good rule of thumb.
Right.
My rule of thumb, a lot of people...
If you're a trader.
If you're a trader.
For me, I like to buy businesses,
Yep.
but we do occasionally trade. And it adds a lot to our performance.
Sure.
When we do it right. When we do it wrong, it sucks.
Yep.
And we do it wrong from time to time. But we are trading again. Obviously, the company has paid off. Nile has paid off its $66 million debt piece, and we are mining Bitcoin as fast as you can mine it.
Yeah,
Now, Jason, the report's going to go out May 2nd on what we're mining.
Text
right?
messages, just a lot of stuff going on here.
How are the logistics of those 2,300 miners? By the way, not 2,300 miners 1 month, but 2,300 miners every single month for a while now. Right?
Yeah, it's a lot of pallets.
A lot of pallets. I think yesterday Joe showed us some of those miners being installed, right?
Yeah, he showed
you can't
up.
install them fast enough,
Yeah,
can you?
it's ongoing business execution, and that's what we're focused on. May 2nd, Monday, we'll have the mining report, so you guys will get a glimpse of that. Ford earnings came out. Looks like they had a beat on EPS and a beat on revenue. What's Ford doing after hours? Facebook's ripping. It's 201 right now. Let's take a look at Ford. Ford is... Did they get rewarded for their... oops, wrong one.
I don't quite get this thing. What does this mean that...
What?
So it says here, let's go to my screen here. It says Boeing lost $1.1 billion on Trump Air Force deal. Boeing lost a total of $1.1 billion so far on the costs associated with the deal to modify two 747 jets to serve as Air Force One. The CEO said Boeing probably should not have taken the risk from that deal from plans, which was negotiated when President Trump was in office. Let's see here. Boeing reported a loss of $1.2 billion in the first quarter, with a charge of $600 million associated with delays and higher costs of the Air Force program. Boeing's delays on Air Force One, which was cut by Dennis Muhlenberg, let's see here, requires the company, not the federal government, to eat the cost of overruns on the contract. I think it's interesting that Donald Trump. Let's talk about that. The cost of overruns on the contract. Boeing has to eat it if the costs are higher.
Mm-hmm.
So Donald Trump negotiated like a businessman. And former presidents would say, oh, well, we'll eat the cost. The taxpayer.
Yeah.
Is anyone paying attention to this?
Yeah.
I mean, hello.
Boeing made a bad deal.
Boeing made a bad deal.
Trump got him.
Trump got him. The art of the deal, right, Mr. Trump?
That's it. That's what happened.
Yeah, it should be an interesting. I don't know about you, but have you? When are we talking midterms? So, just explain to me when we're allowed to start talking. Is it in June, July?
Well, I'm looking at Dave Calhoun from Boeing. I'm looking at his political contributions because you know that's exactly what I do. So yeah, I'm trying to find out how much he gave to the Democratic National Committee. I mean, everything's political now. If you don't realize that, then you're in a different world. But the midterms are gearing up, and if you have any indication of what's going on in Wisconsin, Republicans are winning all the seats there. Right here, former running back and what should be Herschel Walker leads Democrat Senator Warnock in Georgia Senate race. So that's interesting there.
I can't say nobody, but nobody wants him to win more than me.
Oh, I want Herschel Walker to
love
win.
that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I loved him when he was a football player. He's very realistic. And I think it would be incredible.
Remember his workout regimen?
Dude, the guy.
He did like 1,000 push-ups and like 1,000 sit-ups a day.
He's a beast, man. He's a beast. Elon Musk. Listen, you know how much I admire him. If you go to my screen here, the judge knocks down Elon Musk's request to annul the settlement with the SEC. The judge denied his request. and didn't think that was going to happen. I mean, once you get into a settlement with the SEC, you can't really unwind that kind of stuff. And he was, you know, I get a vast majority of my tweets cleared by legal.
Yeah.
When they're already out in the public, I don't. So, like, if it's already a comment that's already been made, but if it's a new comment, like I tried to make one today about reverse splits, and, you know, they're very sensitive to what I'm allowed to say.
For sure.
Right? And so they get all reviewed and reviewed and reviewed. That's just the way it is. So Elon has to have his tweets removed when he said funding secured at 420.
From 2018?
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Ironically, stock's much higher than that, so would have been a bad deal for shareholders.
That's funny.
He is brave, man. You got to respect the SEC. They're doing their job to protect investors, and he's got some huevos, ones that I don't have. I would not be doing that.
He gives 0 Fs.
Someone sent me a tweet that said Elon Musk is going to buy Coca-Cola next so he can put cocaine back in Coca-Cola.
That might help people.
Free speech, right? What do we got next here? Jason, you got anything you want to talk about with the market?
The market, not really. I mean,
you know, got to be honest with you guys. I'm trading indexes.
Yeah, it's not.
We're buying companies, like all are part of them now. We've been talking about this since February. We said in February, like, well, before that, if you go back to a series of our interviews, we were fairly negative on the market.
For sure.
We were short Netflix a long time ago. We were short. What's that one company that makes the bicycle?
Peloton.
Peloton. See, it tells you how much I remember them.
Yeah.
Right?
What about?
We were short a lot of things that we thought were going to be negative. I wonder how all those haters of mine are doing in AMC. Let's look it up together. AMC. Let's pull that up. Okay. Well, it's still at $15.86.
Okay.
But it's a different world now.
There's not as much liquidity. We talked about this.
No, liquidity's not there.
It's just not there.
But I think a company, a while ago, we talked about this. They put a target of $1 there. Now, just for full disclosure, we are not short AMC. We are not short.
What about UUP?
UUP, what's that?
The dollar index?
No, we are not short that.
All-time high right here.
Let me see if I'm allowed to cover
DXY.
What we're long here. What are we long? Alzamend. ALZN for those home gamers, AMHC, which is merging with Turn On Green. It's going to be Turn On Green. 140 million shares being distributed to shareholders.
And
That's
warrants.
The plan. And 140 million warrants.
Yeah, 140 and 140.
I bought a little GE today. I've been nibbling at Netflix, and we own Mullen. And for full disclosure with Mullen, we own Mullen at much lower prices. Full disclosure, we bought into Mullen when it was a private company, so our cost basis is much different than the public. So we are not recommending the buying, selling of any of those securities, especially Mullen. But I did buy a little Netflix, which you should not buy. You should consult your financial advisor. Don't listen to me on that. But we just did buy. We have Alzamend in our portfolio. We've had that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And to say that biotechs are in a bear market is not even an understatement. They're getting murdered.
Yeah.
They're murdering biotechs like mad. Why is that?
Well, it's driven by news. They can just post up there. Like, let's look at Sava.
That's got. I saw someone put a $6 target on them this morning.
It's 21.
Yeah.
Let's look at the daily chart on that.
Ugly.
Wow. Yeah. You know that was a $100 stock in November, right?
Hey, it's Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday. Yeah, it was a $100.
$100 stock.
Right.
Over 100.
You're right. Hey, it's Wednesday, so let's answer some questions.
Let's get some questions. 150 people watching live.
Let's see here. Dave Demersion. Also, half of my short gold miners. Okay.
Also cleared half of my
Stop dilution.
Stop dilution, Ali.
All right. That's not a question.
Is that a question?
That's a statement.
Is that a question?
That's a statement. You wouldn't know what we were doing anyways. We been pretty clear on what we were doing there.
Andrew Mills, I know you got a
Can
position.
you talk about the S3 filing for now? It was a
AUMN.
requirement that we file the S3 as part of our... Jesus, Skylar, you okay over there?
Yeah.
It's like exhausted. I'm trying to like keep up with them,
wow.
and my eyes are like.
So
getting
we
tired.
we had to file an S3. We've already filed this S3 one time. We had to amend it. It is $1 a share for those warrants.
Correct.
It's a requirement when we did the December financing. If you would have said to me in December we'd be here, I would have told you were crazy, especially with debt paid off, $52 million in sales, up 120% from the previous year, and then with guidance of $155 million plus or minus, with the miners being installed. Obviously, all the caveats to that. We've been up and to the right in terms of growing revenue. So I don't know. It is what it is. But I think when earlier someone said I said shut up, I didn't say shut up. I said you don't have to be here. No one has to. You're not this. This isn't Nazi Germany. You're not required to own Nile. I'm required to own Nile because I own it already, and I'm buying when I'm legally allowed to. I buy all I can.
That's a good question, Rich. Todd, any update when the 10Q will be released?
I expect the 10Q to be released between the 15th of May and the 23rd. And that is not breaking news. That is when it's required to be released. Mm-hmm. The last day we can release it without being late is the May 23rd. And the due date is the 15th, and you get a 5-day extension.
Can we focus on being profitable? Alejandro. Yeah.
We're focused on cash flow, my friend. Cash flow. Now, obviously, if you don't have debt, you would theoretically... the trouble with saying you don't have debt is not understanding what a holding company is. So let me explain something to you. I'm going to take my time with this, and that is, when you're a holding company, you call it holdco. You can have debt at the holdco level, or you can have debt at the subsidiary level, or you can have both. But if you have debt at the subsidiary level, sometimes it's considered what's called non-recourse to the parent or holdco. So when AG Agree, when All Global Real Estate Equities bought those hotels, we put in $23 million of equity, and we borrowed the rest of the money on a non-recourse basis to the parent company.
Yep.
So BitNow Holdings is not liable for all the debt at the subsidiary that is real estate. Real estate traditionally carries debt. It doesn't make a lot of sense when you don't.
It's cheap money.
It's cheap money. And so the only debt we have substantively is debt at the subsidiary level of the real estate division, which is, of course, backed by the value of the real estate. As you get to expand your balance sheet, and as you know, we ended the year at $490 million, and as you read the 10K, you saw we raised $110 million. So you can do the math on assets. When you pay off debt, you end up about, that looks like around $550 million. You just got to do the math and read the 10K and add 1 and 1 equals 2. You can figure it out. It's not hard.
Yeah.
You look at what we raised already when we filed the 10K, and you go, okay, so let's say it's $550 million after you paid off debt. Then you go and say, well, what is the return on those assets going to be? And if you go and say, well, how much of that is goodwill? Well, we can look at our balance sheet and see that there's not a lot of goodwill there. So that means there's real assets or real companies there. And that's how you sort of calculate what your cash flow could be based on whether it's a 10% return on assets, a 5%, a 15%, et cetera. And that's sort of the guideline. And so right now, we have been in a real big investment cycle where we're putting our money into Bitcoin miners. And Jason, maybe you could explain to everybody in generic terms, when you buy miners like we did last October, November, and then made that big order in November in Dubai.
Yep.
You put up upfront money, but when do you get the miners? I mean, what's the issue with why it takes so long? Because last year we did about 3.5 million, give or take, between 3 and 3.5 million of Bitcoin. I can't remember how much we mined last year, but we started installing a lot of miners, and that number's accelerating. So, Jason,
well, yeah,
explain to people how you get those Bitcoin miners.
So the way the Bitcoin mining industry works, because there are only 3 players that provide ASICs miners, one of the players has about 80% of the market share. So on their contracts, they dictate a certain upfront capital expenditure from the customer, and that generally includes a large upfront payment, and the return on that upfront payment is deferred because, generally speaking, the contracts for the delivery dates on the miners usually don't occur for at least 180 days. So the leap of faith in order to get into the Bitcoin mining industry and to scale, to really be profitable and provide large cash flow on a daily basis, is to take that risk on and go ahead and sign those purchase agreements. And it's kind of like Wimpy and Popeye, you know.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yeah. So what we're doing is...
And I probably would do that. Everyone knows I like hamburgers.
Brett, that was your chance for a sound there. But
Did it do?
So anyway, that was good. So
I did that. Don't give him. And that would have been Nick, right?
So we're starting to harvest now, though. We're starting to harvest the digital coins. Yeah, so we're scaling now. We're doing monthly updates on the actual transparency of the delivery of the miners, how they're being deployed at our beautiful data center in Michigan. And now we've made it. We've weathered the storm, Todd. We've provided the upfront capital, and now we're starting to harvest, like you mentioned in the most recent press
So let me
release.
be one more thing clear, okay? And that is, all companies have blackout dates, and for small non-accelerated filers, there's a blackout date from the end of the year till you file your 10K, but your 10K gets filed after your first quarter ends. We're going to slow down because I need all the people here who are making comments that are false to listen closely, all 188 of you. When 12/31 happens, you go on a blackout period. Directors and officers cannot buy. However, you can file a 12B5 plan. There's some other plans you can file, which we did for Alt Alpha. That's why we continued to buy. The plan ran out. The amount we were allowed to buy ran out. So you fast forward to the buyback program we put in place, which is in place. You can't use an ATM and buy back at the same time. There's the rules around these things, stuff like that. But more importantly than that, you can't buy back stock during a blackout period. And our blackout period will not end until we file our first quarter results, which will be between the 15th and the 25th. I believe we have to wait approximately 2 days, and then we're allowed to do what we believe is in our best interest. So for all those people asking about what we're doing and all the dilution comments, I would read the filings. That's important. Understand that, you know, my only comments about this is at the end of the year and going into February and March, when things got really negative in the market and the Fed got aggressive and Russia invaded Ukraine, we decided that it was best that we paid off our debt. And we did what we thought was best for the long-term value of the company. And so I would encourage you to just read the filings and pay attention to the dates and know when we have blackout periods or not. I know lots of people ask, when can I buy back stock? And I'm not allowed to buy back stock until I'm not in a blackout period. Now, I've got to give you the legal disclosure here. We have a buyback in place that's good for 3 years. Of course, if I bought stock at higher prices, I'd want to buy them at lower prices. There's never a guarantee that anything's ever going to happen.
True.
But I'm very pot committed to BitNow Holdings and its future. I was the largest shareholder. I believe I still am, along with the fund. And I understand it's bear. People don't like things, and it's not always perfect. But we told everyone for a long time what our plans were, and we want to get the asset base in place. And we finally are now really accelerating those miner installations.
Yep.
I'm super proud of the team and what they're doing. And I know that's in contrast to what the stock market looks like. Can't do anything about that. But what we can do is continue to be here every day and be here to talk to you. And if you're professional and rational, I'm not going to answer questions about a reverse. I've answered it like 300 times. It's not in anyone's best interest. If we decide to do something like that, we would tell you. But I don't have any comments. So anyways, what's going on with you?
Well, back to the bear. Nick on my screen. Tomorrow, you guys probably know. If you don't know, I'm going to show you. Tomorrow is the GDP release, gross domestic product, on the economic calendar. This is a good reference for you guys, econoday.com. Quarter over quarter, as you see, prior 6.9% growth is not going to happen here. We're looking at 1.1% GDP growth consensus. Tomorrow, you are going to see a lot of doom and gloom in my opinion. GDP numbers come out tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Prepare your plan for trading and execution in the market based on this data that's coming out, along with the jobless claims tomorrow, too. That'll come out at the same time. So you guys always look at what's coming out for economic data and make your decisions around some of that macro data, especially GDP. Jobless claims looks like the consensus at 181,000 tomorrow. Let's see what happens there. So I just wanted to keep you up to date. Just bookmark this page, econoday.com. It's a good source for you guys to plan your day for trading, okay?
I don't know. Kind of mellow right now.
I do. The U.S. dollar
Strong?
is the only thing that's ripping.
How's it so strong?
Because against
we're raising rates?
all the other fiat is shit. Did I say that? It is. It's shit.
So
we're the best shit. Our shit doesn't stink as much as the other shit. How's
okay,
that?
so in terms of all the fiat out there, you're saying our fiat is the best fiat.
We got the best fiat for sure.
So if you were long U.S. dollars and Bitcoin, you'd be happy?
Yeah, but I like silver and gold.
I mean, just so we're clear, though, we get paid in U.S. dollars and we mine Bitcoin.
Yeah, but
No, BitNile gets paid in U.S. dollars.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Whoa, careful, Todd.
Yeah.
Careful. Don't make false and misleading statements. That's not true. Gresham, UK gets paid in British pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And in Israel, we get paid in shekels.
Shekels.
For Enertech. So, Todd, be clear. Be clear. We get paid in shekels.
Yeah.
We get paid in British pounds and U.S. dollars.
Correct.
And we mine Bitcoin.
But at 17% real inflation, that's my number, in my opinion. Do you play hot potato with fiat? Like, I move that fiat around so quickly. You're better off buying, like, tangible products. I mean, go out and buy stuff that's not
Do you still have that gold piece with you?
Not with me, but...
I love that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy...
You encouraged my wife, and she bought some gold and silver.
Yeah, it's great. It's real money.
Yeah.
Sound money.
You're right.
I mean, I'm a Ron Paul guy, so of course I'm going to like silver and gold. So...
Well, if you were looking at silver and gold stocks today, what would you buy?
Silver and gold stocks today? Well, Andrew Mills is in the chat. I'm sure he will like this one. AUMN, man. Go to the well every time. You can swing that stock so often and so easy. Mills, I know you got a position in AUMN. Just
what price is it right now?
Probably 42 or 43.
Let's look it up.
All right, let's take a look.
AUMN. It's on the New York American. It's been below $1.
Yeah,
How come they didn't delist it? It's
because
below
the
$1.
threshold is 20 cents, Todd.
Wait a second. Wait. It's actually 6 cents. But
it actually is 6 cents.
Yeah, but wait a second. So AUMN is on the New York American.
Yeah.
But it's below $1, but not subject to the dollar rule.
There it is.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I guarantee Mills loaded right there at 41.42. Look at this. Look at this 1 month chart. Yeah.
What about your other favorite, the other one? How's it doing? What price?
AG's probably around 12. There's been a big tamp on precious metal spot price right now. Obviously a lot of the institutions short paper, naked short metals to the tune of billions of ounces.
Where's AG at?
1030, 1050.
Damn!
Wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, that's dirt cheap.
Woo!
That's even below where we sold it when we bought all those miners.
It was just 1277 5 days ago.
What happened?
They crushed the physical market.
They did.
Yeah, it's tied. Yeah, so physical is tied to in the GDXJ. It's tied to all the junior miners. So that's what's happening. You're getting a lot of pressure on silver and gold because of the DXY. I mean, the DXY is going to fly because it's competing against all the other crap fiats. But if you put the DXY against commodities, then that's a different story.
My brother's on there. I have no position in any of the stocks anywhere.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah, there's Mills. BTG, okay, NGD,
I have a couple of those.
AUMN, and
Exactly.
Hecla. HL Hecla, yeah, I like Hecla.
It's called corruption, Andrew Mills says.
It is, Mills. You know JP Morgan, they've paid the largest fine.
Skylar, what time is my next call?
It's at 2:15.
What?
It's at 2:15.
Yeah, Travis, you got a good investment there.
12 minutes.
Okay, got it.
Actually, I have a call right now.
Hey, everybody. For you out there, Bubba, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Alabama. And there really is a guy named Bubba. He's a lawyer. I'm looking forward to seeing your son. Unfortunately, one of my friend's son, his very ill, but he's fighting back. He's very young, has a rare form of cancer, and is fighting hard to overcome that. But one of the things I want to talk about before we leave here is what's happening with the conference. Now, I realize I have a lot of, when we talk about disclosure, I always have to be careful what I say online, how I say it, etc. But, when we have plans to do something, we'll tell you. Our plans are still in order. We're not changing any of our plans, the way we're going forward, how we're building the company. We are moving forward with the Turn on Green spinoff as soon as we can, as soon as the shares, as soon as the company's audited and we report that. So not much has really changed there. But I am talking about the conference that's coming up May 12th through the 15th, and I do want all of you that are in Vegas or can get here without a flight, I do want to extend you guys an invitation. So let me know if you live in the local area. Email Randy at Ault Alliance, Randy at Ault Alliance, or go to riskonevents.com. Speak to Roland or Joe or anybody there and tell them you spoke to me, you saw me on TV, and let us know where you live. If you watch this show, even if it's recorded and you watch the recorded show and you want to be here the 12th to the 15th, we have a special deal for you. Could be very special. You never know how special of a deal that could be. Check out the podcast tomorrow with Alex Svetsky. This guy is blunt and to the point here about Bitcoin. He's the founder of Amber, the world's first DCA app. It's also a writer for the Bitcoin Times. If you had a chance, I was on Bitcoin Magazine's interview yesterday. I put the link in my Twitter. I was the first hour and 15 minutes. I mean, in fact, we lost track of time.
They loved you. They sent an email and said they had so much fun and they want to have you on the show again. They really enjoyed.
If you don't think that I'm pot committed to Bitcoin, you watched the wrong program. And if you bet against Bitcoin, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Skylar, you got a joke for us today?
I do. So, a man went into a hardware store and he asked for some nails. And he went to the assistant and the store clerk or whatever. And the store clerk said, "Well, how long do you want them?" And to which the man replied, "Well, I was planning on keeping them." Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I'd love to comment on the reverse idea. I'd love to comment on why the stock is down. I just don't think it does any good anymore. No one's listening to me. So do your own research. Don't know what to say about it. I've told you everything I wanted to say. But I appreciate you guys, those people who are here. Those people who are here for the wrong reason, which is to be a hater. I still appreciate you too. Nothing but love for all of you. Everybody, we'll see you tomorrow. No.
What is tomorrow? Thursday.
We'll see you Friday. I'll be calling in live from Alabama from the
I'll be right here.
The Raceway. You'll be here. I'm sad you're not going to be there, but thank you for staying back and watching the fort.
Yep.
Check me out on social media, Todd at Todd Ault on Instagram and Todd Ault 3 on Twitter. I am verified. There's a blue check mark there. No, folks, I did not buy that jet. I did not buy that $60 million jet.
No.
Belongs indirectly through a friend of mine. I do charter one from time to time when it's required, but I'm not in a position yet. Now, if Alzamend were to get approved by the FDA or something, maybe we would, right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm just having some
No,
fun.
I'm with you.
I'm just having some fun.
Easy, what was your question? Hurry up, Easy. Come on, give me the question, Easy. Yeah, we'll take one more question from Easy. We'll give you 10 seconds, and then we got to roll.
Come on, Easy.
Easy.
Easy, what's the question?
Easy. Count it down.
Okay. Hey, by the way, a lot of you guys got in the 5-minute window for that free Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be giving it out to you shortly. You're going to get a code from Earnity, all those people who got, I think there were 51 people that paid attention to the program, and they had 5 minutes, and they did it. And Randy has everything timestamped. You know what Randy told me to tell you? I couldn't tell you what I wanted to tell you because he was very negative. But,
Nile shares of Turn on Green.
Team Johnny.
What is that?
But Randy was very specific about the time frame, and he got it marked. So we're there next time. There will be more Bitcoin giveaways in the future.
Yes, and the business enterprise and the plan goes on. We just keep
the plan
going.
goes on.
Yes.
I realize no one's happy with the market, not me, not anyone, but we love you all. Take care, everybody. Be well, and risk on, everyone. We'll see you later.
Nice.
Whatever your business is, if you want to scale it, you want to be here, we're going to have lots of other people there that have actually built businesses.
This will make somebody's life about 1,000 times better.
You got a business and you want to expand your business, whether you're in the restaurant business, you're in technology, whatever your business is, if you want to scale it, you want to be here. This is going to be a conference where you can learn something, meet people, and network. Limited slots are available. Head over to ToddAult.com and register today.